Good evening, folks. Derby Day defeat in Weavers Park in Drogheda. Probably the worst time to get a defeat, the worst team to get a defeat against, considering where we are in the league. Steph, the maestro McKevitt, how are we after that? It's been a long day. I don't know if we're better off waiting a wee bit longer to do this podcast. I don't know how many people would have been listening to us, maybe 3 o'clock or 3:30 today on a bank holiday Monday, but it's considering, Friday night's result, and we could have probably grabbed something more out of that. We were kind of looking forward to the day, 1 o'clock kickoff, bank holiday Monday, Louth Derby. But it's just a dog all over. We've shot ourselves in the foot again, haven't we?
Yeah, feels like the game was about 3 days ago at this stage. But Derby Day disaster, I suppose. Look, the way the game went, we seemed to have the momentum after the red card for the Drogheda keeper, and the equaliser straight away. We're sort of thinking they'd camp in, and to get the equaliser straight away, you're sort of licking your lips, saying, go and win the game. Then all the impetus should have been on us to go and get a winner, and Drogheda didn't look like they were getting it at a half, and silly free kick. They look, Evan Weir's his set pieces. It was like day and night. His set pieces against our set pieces, and he whips in it. It wasn't even his best ball of the night, just into the danger area, and just couldn't deal with it. I know there's a lot of people calling for handballs, but we're sort of clutching at straws a wee bit. I don't think any of the players was calling for handballs, so I don't know. It's a picture that I seen earlier. But yeah, look, it's even worse if we did handle it then, that sort of way.
Yeah, it's obviously, look, it's going to be more scrutinised in most games because it's up the road, it's Drogheda. But I think because of where we are in the league, and credit to Drogheda were excellent. I mean, the Perry up front is an absolute, machine. I mean, he ran. Look, we talk about Andy Boyd in the defence. They've been excellent over the last couple of exact chances, but he really had a proper handful for the two boys at the back today. Some excellent chances. And I always, anytime I watch the Drogheda play at home, it looks like such a small pitch. I don't know if it is small. You would have played on Steph. I don't know if it's actually small or the stadium's just small. But we just seem to be kind of sucked into this small game, and Drogheda seem to always even take advantage of us when we play there.
Yeah, and look, to be fair to Drogheda, I was just looking over the home form. They got beaten the opening night by Waterford 4-1. But since then they haven't got beaten. They've picked up a couple of wins and a couple of draws, but they make it difficult for every team that goes there. So it's not just us, I suppose, but they definitely use that pitch to their advantage massively, and look, the crowd get behind them, and you try your best to kill any of that momentum off. But like we were saying on Friday night, we were the team that had the momentum, had everything going for us. They picked up a couple of bad results, and you were just hoping that the momentum and stuff would carry us through. We knew it was going to be a scrap and a dogfight, but just the way the game panned out, I thought we were the better of the two sides. They had a couple of half efforts, Paul Doyle gets caught napping a couple of times. Deegan, possibly and probably should have been sent off.
Yeah.
Nicked the ball away from him a couple of times. Even look, if you get caught once and there's no shout, the next time you're they always say, look, the best midfielders in the world are scanning the whole time. They know who's behind them. Now I know it's hard to put him up on the pedestal with Luka Modric and the boys, Paul Doyle. Look, if you get caught once, then you should be aware to it. And he gets caught out for the goal badly. He just gets caught square. He's totally faced his goal, and he takes the touch out of his feet, which is probably criminal, to be honest. Pro had a few half shots and snap efforts where he was sort of, creating his own chances. He was like the Darwin Núñez of the League of Ireland. He was just causing havoc, and he was getting in people's faces. He was dragging the boys down. They knew they were in a match today, but look, I thought they were matching up with him, and they were coping well. And like, look, if you can keep a striker to snapshots, I know he had the side netting at one stage as well from a chest and volley, but like they were keeping him to a minimum. Like it wasn't like he was having to take chances until he gets the opening. So yeah, I think, look, I think the main thing coming away from it is probably just the frustration of it.
Yeah.
If we should have just really, like, when they went down to 10 and they were camped in their own half, like, just go and win the game, but certainly don't lose it.
And and we can, like, I think we're more, again, we keep going back to where we are in the league and where, there's now that 5 point gap. If anybody hear my dog scraping here at the door, that's what that noise is in the background, folks. It's not a washing machine or anything. But it's interesting there from Sean. Great slog at the game today. Now, ex-Dundalk and ex-Cheltenham Town as well, free agent. But if like you say, without jumping on too far, we're talking about obviously the goal we can see with Paul Doyle. Just on George Shelby, is it a lot of people saying it's a poor pass to him? If that's the way they're going to play, though, that's probably the ball he's always going to play on. He could go long with it, but the two boys have closed him down really quickly. Is there an option there for Doyle to say, well, he's kind of passing, but Doyle probably should have known it was coming. That's the way they've trained and that's the way they've played.
Yeah. Well, look, one of the rules, and it probably doesn't apply to certain teams you're playing, but like we were always told, if the ball goes forward, particularly if you're playing the central position, like if the ball goes forward, comes back to you the second time you get rid of it, because obviously the opposition have pressed right up. If they just go long from that, then they beat the press. And we done it perfectly for the free kick and sending off. Like Shelby takes the quick free kick, goes direct to Elliott, and he wins the foot race against the goalkeeper and the defender. But yeah, like, look, they're obviously playing to a certain style, but like I can.
There's times and places for style, isn't there?
I can blame Doyle for that. Like Shelby's, some of his kicking was erratic. Like it's like if a keeper over kicks, right, fair enough. But like he was driving some low, driving some on the ground, but they just seemed erratic. There didn't seem to be like, he was clipping them into people or he was driving them directly to people. They just seemed to be going all over the place.
And I think that amplifies then the problem we have. Not the problem we have post-match, that amplifies when you look back and say, right, well, if they can get things like that, right, maybe we get something out of the game. But then, you have to give credit to Drogheda as well, I suppose. They pressed us down. They've obviously seen, I don't know if they've seen an issue there with like you say, erratic clearances or erratic kicks. He can be so in and out with different, even just goal kicks in general off the ground. He can be so kind of in and out with it. But look, you don't be too kind of downtrodden on Drogheda. They have been very good, albeit, we were better probably last Friday night than we have been tonight. I mean, I'm finding it hard to, if you take, for instance, I'm very wary of skipping on here too far into the game, but even for their second goal, Scott High has to clear lines there. He's got to, I know it's come down the line, but even simple things like that, at that stage of the game, you want to keep the ball, but there's times for keeping the ball and there's times for just hitting the ditches with the ball. I know, look, hindsight now is great, but I mean, a derby, down to 10 men draw away, it's, things like that, they've got to cut that stuff out, because that's what's going to relegate us if we keep going the way we're going.
Yeah, that's just the inexperience. And look, he's a pole playing midfielder, but still no excuse. You're facing your own goal, you're under pressure. Like, surely he's felt Gallagher on his back. He's under pressure, and look, it's even it's that tight of a pitch that the ball was knocked up into the air, and the ball went out of my view anyway. On the TV.
It definitely looked tight,
if the ball went out or not. That happened a couple of times, and look, you just play your percentages and regroup and get behind it. But look, there could have been a couple of them, like Deacon nicks the ball away from Doyle in the first half, and Foley has a big chance, like he's 1-on-1, probably on his weaker left foot. But like, it's not just one or two of these you're getting out of jail for. Obviously, Heaney hooks one off the line from Gullen, but aside from that and the goal, you're sort of like, you know, we're not really creating big chances where, you know, keepers are really having to pull off saves. It's either high and wide or it's straight into the keeper's hands. You know, it's not really troubling at times. So that's where your big worry is. I thought Scott High played particularly well, to be honest with you. He played a terrific ball in behind in the first half, and Gullen just couldn't get there. And you're sort of saying, you know, dive in header or throw your foot or do something, like, you know. It just seemed like he was just struggling. Like I found many times this year with Cullen, like, you know, he just seems to struggle to get there when the ball has arrived in the right area. I don't know whether it's he's linking up play and he's like working hard higher out the field, and he can't make up the ground to get into the box. But like, if you're the number 9 and the ball's going into that area, like you're always told, you know, your job is to get the ball into that dangerous area, and then it's up to the strikers and the attackers to finish off certain passes like that. So I think there's a lot of work to be done in the attacking third, because we seem to be very good up to that point. Like, Archie Davis seems to be back to his best. We did miss Bradshaw a little bit, but look, I think Muller's done reasonably okay there. He's up against Foley. He has that one big chance, but you can put that down to Paul Doyle getting pickpocketed again by Deegan. And the two boys, I thought the two centre halves were particularly good again. Like Johnson looks like a terrific player in there. Like, I know he just every time you see him, he just, you know, he just gives you the confidence that you're not really going to concede too much when he's back there. Like, so, it's a tough one. It's a tough one because Benson was busy and High looked good as well. And then you get to the deliveries from out wide, and it just seems like it's a bit of a letdown at times for me anyway. Like, we know Mountney's not an out-and-out winger, and he put in a few dangerous balls against Shells. He probably didn't really get the chance to do that this evening against Evan Weir. But yeah, it's disappointed with the set pieces. Like, you know, very, very poor from set pieces, overhitting a lot, not picking out men, just getting balls into dangerous areas at times. Even the last one's just totally frustrating. Like, you know, surely they know it's near enough the last kick of the game, and we decide to put the ball into the box instead of, like, a shot was definitely on there. Like, look, let Gullen have a smack at it. The worst he can do is hit it wide or over. Like, you know, you put the ball into the box and they just, one of their big men heads it clear, probably can, and, you know, damn squib. We go out in a damn squib, like.
Mark Carroll has just commented in as well. We heard rumours of not rumours, it was Shelby who sent out. We haven't heard anything on that. We don't know anything that's happened. I don't know if something's happened in the tunnel or something with fans.
Nearly words with the ref, but look, right. I don't know who told me that. So, a few lads at the game messaged me straight after, going, Shelby's after getting red carded after the whistle as well. So, I don't know. He's obviously said something to the ref. Or, if it was more serious than that, you reckon we would have heard about it.
Yeah, and like, you know, I think one of the bigger problems we have tonight as well. Obviously, we're probably more talking about the second half, because that's what kind of where the game kicked off. But even if we're even talking about the result, like Sean Newbury just mentioned as well, and you had text earlier on, Steph, the results around us, nothing went for us today either. It was just, it's bad enough to be beaten by Drogheda, but then you see Waterford result. You know, it's just not we'll really bet all round, all ends up, aren't we?
Yeah. Look, and you have to, like they say, make your own luck, but you know, you can't be relying on other results. I know it's still early.
Absolutely, yeah.
I know it's early enough, but you can't be relying on other results. But it's just an extra kick in the teeth when you see the other results popping up. Like, for Waterford to go to Tala and win 3-1, like, you're just saying, fucking hell.
Yeah, and it's just unfortunate. Like all results around us, you know, when that starts to happen, you really know you're going to be a disaster. You know, over the next couple of weeks, these results are just going to be an absolute, you know, terror, horror show. Because when we go to pick up the points against the likes of Drogheda, because we're 5 points down now, we have to go and find those points. They have to drop them somewhere, and then nobody around us is, dropping, picking up mental points like Waterford today is probably going to lose mental results of the season. Unless we go up there and beat Rovers, but it's just
Like
such a frustrating result.
Just even to look at our away form, like it doesn't inspire confidence. Like, we've played 7 games now, and we've drawn 7 away games. We've drawn 2 and lost 5. Like, so you're sort of banking on your home form, which has been patchy probably at best. I know it's sort of you just hope the bubble hadn't burst too early. The honeymoon period of the new manager coming in. Like momentum's massive in football, and we thought we were just we're finally just starting to move forward, and you just get a knockback like this, and like you said, then you look at the results for the rest of the evening, and it's just every single one of them just hit against us. So look, I think there's probably no point in looking around us. We just have to start getting wins and turning the draws into wins and the losses into draws if possible. But it looks like an uphill task at the minute.
Yeah, and we've obviously mentioned Jamie Gullen there as well, and our lack of kind of intent up top. He's obviously redeemed himself with the free kick, but then a big problem after the free kick that's really caught fire on social media is what's going on with the fans. And we're hearing Brian Ainscough hearing stories of Brian Ainscough being reported of having words with fans early in the game as well. But obviously flares coming on to be whatever's going on to the field after the game that's delayed the game. When you look at it in the context of the match, it's had a real impact on the game then going forward. It's a real it slowed the game down. It's allowed Drogheda to kind of almost regroup and rethink, a kind of a plan. It might not seem critical in the long, we could be looking at 6 months and it mightn't be a big deal. But when you look at it today in black and white, what was going on? What were they thinking? Why do that? Why slow the game down? It's just such a non-football thing to do. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, look, I can't imagine it's intentional or whatever. But look, I give them a chance to regroup. But look, it gives us a chance to regroup as well. So I don't know what that says, but look, ideally it wouldn't happen. But you probably there's been plenty of games where you've seen games being stopped for flares on the pitch. It happens every second or third week in Oriel Park as well, and if people aren't putting the flares out, but
I think it's probably been magnified now because of the result of it. Obviously, if you go and win, you don't hear. We probably wouldn't hear as much. But obviously, look, you condemn it like that, and you danger anybody. But
obviously, you don't want to see it happening. But look, it probably magnifies it a little bit because of when it happens. But look, we still make the mistakes that cost the game, or we don't take our chances or make the right decisions or don't have the clinical final ball.
Yeah.
So look, you can blame fans if you want, but at the end of the day, the boys on the pitch are the ones playing the game. So look, it's momentum. I'm sure Drogheda will be looking to kill any momentum we had at that stage as well. They probably just got a bit of a helping hand. So, but I think Dan said it there. It's not right what happened, but they can't be looking at an excuse.
Yeah, no, that's what people possibly latching onto it and added minutes. But then again, look, they scored in the 93rd, so you would have got minimum minutes anyway of that, regardless of 10, whatever it was. So it's just something you just need to have a bit more guile about. You think the clearance from high, he's got to clear that ball, and look, these things will happen. But look, obviously, it's a bank holiday Monday. It's kind of a bite-sized show. We don't normally do our 14-hour show on a bank holiday Monday. We are going to bring in Dundalk superfan Jane McDermott, regular on the show. Jane, were you at the game today, or were you watching on the stream?
I was there, Gally.
So what was, just atmosphere-wise, just even during the game, without the result itself, atmosphere from the Dundalk fans? I'm always interested on the away games what the atmosphere was like.
I'll tell you where I was situated in the wheelchair area. Actually, I was predominantly surrounded by Drogheda fans, which was great crack. So I couldn't really hear our end at all, but I can imagine, and from hearing back videos, the atmosphere was very good, and everybody sang and they tried to get things going. I thought we started well, and then it just, we give away very easy goals, I feel, and
But
you would.
was it a game, from watching it, was it a game that, you know, was it, did you feel that Dundalk were a better team overall, or was it kind of not Dundalk, Drogheda were a better team overall, or was it a chance that, because of where we are, like I said at the start of the show, because of where Dundalk are in the league and where Drogheda are, there's that gap that opens up now creates a serious problem going forward, and it's something after the Shelbourne game that we really wanted to put right today, because it's a chance to kind of, although it's a away game on a tight pitch, as Steph was saying, you got to make them games. Drogheda very strong at home, albeit for the first game of the season, but is it something that you felt going to the game today that we really should be getting something out of?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think everybody going up the road today, or whether they were going to be watching online or listening to the radio, felt this was a must-win game. I don't think even people were going in would have been happy with a point coming out of this game, Gally. I think everyone had the same opinion going up the road or watching in, that we had to get the 3 points today. And you really felt from listening to the players and management over the last that they were ready for it. They were hyped up for it. They knew how important it was, and it just didn't seem to pan out at all.
Yeah, I think, Steph, if we're kind of being, we're trying to be honest, we're not trying to be too critical of it, but when we go to the games like this, when we go to Weavers Park, Louth Derby, it's the second one of the season. Our problem now is that we have to go, like I said a couple of minutes ago, we have to go make up those points. They'll have to drop it, and then we have to go and beat these again. So, like that game now, when I don't know what the date is for, but they're going to come down. Those pivotal games in the season are going to cost us, or potentially could cost us, because where we're going to find the points, where we're going to find the goals, again, we don't want to be talking about goals too much. Gullins had a great free kick today. Keepers come on probably raw as a dodgy chicken there, because he probably hasn't got a proper warm up in the hour before that. But I just don't know. I'm worried. Like I know we do this fan hub thing. Just for an example, Steph, you do this fan hub thing before the game, and we put up our team sheets. I would have loved to put Owen Kenny starting that game today because it's a Louth Derby. But are they guilty of just maybe going with the Gullin situation all the time? Do you think we're going to get to the stage where they have to say, right, well, we've got to throw something else on it. We've got to try something else maybe and see if we can get something. Like, would an Owen Kenny got onto the ball from Scott High today? It's all ifs and buts. But is that something now they're going to maybe have to look at to try and grab maybe something a little bit different, something a little bit kind of more up top than what Gullin's given at the minute?
Yeah, that's that for me. Is
go on, Steph? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. No worries. Yeah, look, I think it can't be not much worse, but like you said, we talked about Scott High playing him in, and there's a couple of balls that look into sort of the area you sort of half expect Gullin to be in. Now, look, he is doing a lot of work up there, and at times it seems to be a bit of a thankless task, because he seems isolated. But like, then when the ball does get into a certain area, you expect him to be there, and it's just frustrating at times. Like, people up at the match, Jane, you'll probably notice yourself. You get a big up picture or a bad up picture. Like, if you want to see somebody and no movement, like, obviously the picture scans to where the ball is and where the action is, but you don't see players walking off the ball or picking up positions. But yeah, look, when I'm up in Oriel and I see him, I can see the movements he's making in the 10, and he's battling with the strikers. But yeah, look, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like we're creating quality chances. We might be creating more than we were, but like I said before, it seems to be shots off target, and even if we do get them on target, a lot of the time it's an easy shot to stop. Like, the two exceptions are obviously the goal, which probably the keeper should save, and then when Healy gets back on the line, it's a good effort, and that's sort of the positions you expect Gullin to be in. It's sort of a bit of a mess from the draw, the centre halves that they just head the ball straight on to Gullin. But yeah, look, he takes it well, and he's just unlucky that the keeper, Heaney is in a great position to hook it back off the line. But yeah, look, I wouldn't be if they named the team in Waterford and you had Gullen up there with somebody else, or you had Kenny, even throw him into the mix from the start. Like I don't think you'd have many people coming out giving out about it.
Yeah,
I think it'd probably be applauded, and we're not trying to manage the team, but we're trying to just talk about different ways where you might have solutions to how we're really struggling badly in front of goal. Yeah, go ahead, Jane.
Sorry, I thought you were finished, Stephen. There was a bit of a delay. I was just going to say, I wonder if starting Kenny might be an option as opposed to waiting and bringing him on. Like starting him and giving him a chance to start and see how he gets on. Because I do feel sometimes that he is coming on to nearly where it's too late for him to get anything done.
Yeah, like I think in Daily Mount, he comes on, like I know there is 8 minutes injury time, but he's literally coming on the button. So like of full time. So he's 8 minutes there. He come on for 2 minutes possibly against Shells. We've seen it before. He's come on in injury time. So like, that's more that says to me more that they're trying to use up time with a substitution rather than he's been brought on to make an impact here. Like if he makes an impact, that's a bonus, but that says more to me. Like they're using up the sub to waste up some time. So look, I think even give him 20 minutes, half an hour, just see how he goes. Like he scored in the Malone Cup game, so and he looked lively. Like he puts himself about. He runs like he'd run all day. So and look, he's hungry and he's going to play for the jersey. He's an adopted local. Like he knows what it means to play for the club. And look, I don't think anybody would have a problem if the starting lineup come out the next day and he was named up top, either with Gullen or as the lone striker. I don't think anybody could have any complaints about it.
Sorry, Jane.
Sorry, interrupting everyone.
You're okay.
You really saw it when he came on against Bows and Dalymount. Like he was shouting at the lads as soon as he came on. He was organising things. Like he had a real passion about him. And I really thought, I know we only saw him for those few minutes at the Bows game, but I remember coming out of the game thinking, give that man a start. Give him a start. I'd love to see him, as you say, Steph, give him the first 15, 20 minutes, see how he gets on. I think that.
Yeah, I think even look, we should mention as well, Cammy Elliott's come on, and what you're going to get from Kenny. He will run for you all day, but again, there's nothing seems to be happening for him. They're almost a like for like swap, really, aren't they? They're not. I mean, Cammy's probably a bit more physical, but it seems to just lack that little bit of differential. Like even. I think maybe Frank, I could be giving you credit here unknown. It might be Frank. It's Frank or Mark Carter, one of the really regulars that had mentioned maybe playing Ryan Quinn through the middle. I don't know whether that works, but I just think for that little position, we need something a little bit different because, like you said, Steph, our general play right up through midfield is generally, for the last couple of weeks, has been excellent. We haven't hit top form, but we've been really good against Bows. Decent today. Decent against Shelbourne as well. We were definitely in the first half of Shelbourne Royal Park last week. We were a better team, but we're just lacking that little bit of just something different up front, something a little bit quicker, but who it is or where it comes from, I really
like when Elliot came on the pitch, the commentator had mentioned that he'd only scored one goal for Dundalk, one competitive goal for Dundalk, and I thought, he's obviously he's got mixed up there, but I went back and checked, and it's like a lot of them will be substitute appearances. We know he hasn't started every single game or anywhere near it, but like it's 30 games now he's played in, and it's one goal return. Like he started enough games that really should be more than that. And then I don't know, it's hard to tell because the ball's swung in, but it looked like Elliot was picking up Can for their winner as well. So look, I don't know if that's a mismatch. And and he's just come, and Gullum was picking up Can, and they've just basically swapped when he come on, or well, Gullum was still on the pitch, so it couldn't have been for him. So, but I don't know what happened there. But you know, a big centre half going to attack the ball, I don't think you should have a striker on him.
Go on, Steph. Yeah,
it's probably just one of them things, but you know, when you see it and you're looking at it, and then the goal happens, then you try and where did it go wrong? Why did that happen? That's the way I automatically try and work it out. So, and you'd be picking up, right, well, obviously, hopefully they don't make that mistake again. And look, with substitutions, it is hard at times. You're trying to get a lot of information to substitute coming on, and these things change. But yeah, look, it's a mismatch with the big centre half going in to attack the ball. They probably try and target him an awful lot. So to have Cammy Elliott come off the bench and pick him up from that set piece is poor from us, in my opinion.
Go on, Jen.
I do think I think you've said it the last few weeks as well, lads. But I do think it's something to point out as well. Their heads are staying up when they're playing, and even when things aren't going right with them, they're keeping their heads up. They're keeping going, you know. And we have seen an improvement, and I think obviously as fans we want to see this improvement 5 minutes ago. But I do think there is something coming there, that there, like I was even watching there at the dugout today, and how the managerial team are dealing with even subs coming on and off, and there's a different kind of approach with them, and I do think it is starting to gel with them. And I think we just have to maybe give it a wee bit more time. I know the points. I know we have to start getting points, but you do bring me on for my positivity. So,
Jane, just one on that, just as you've touched on the, I don't know whether you call it the head. What did you call it? The head coach.
What did I say? I was being diplomatic. The management team.
Yeah, the management team.
The best.
I just want to ask you for your opinion on that yourself. I know Noel King's been brought in as head coach, but he seems to be taking a back seat an awful lot. Just from matches that you've seen, and you know the different videos that is posted on the socials, it looks like, you know, Brian Garland and Liam Burns are heavily involved or taking a lot of the sessions, and obviously, you know, Noel has admitted himself that he didn't know all the players when he came in, and there's obviously going to be a bedding in period. But do you think he's going to stamp his authority now on the team? Obviously, he's the figure that, you know, the questions are going to be asked of as head coach. Do you think he's sort of going to, you know, stamp his authority and, you know, be evident that he's on the line giving instructions? Because it seems like there's a lot, like anytime the camera pans to the substitute bench, it seems like Garland was standing up giving instructions, and then himself and Liam Burns were having a lot of conversations. Obviously the camera's not on him all the time, but
that's really what you saw is what it was like today. Noel did step in at times and they were talking, but I would say mainly it was Brian that was up, and then Liam Burns stepping up as well to discuss things. But it seemed mainly still that Brian was given the main direction today, was what I've observed. What's going to happen in the future, I'm not sure. I would presume slowly but surely. I think from what I've read about what Noel has said with the press and in interviews and stuff, he's going to kind of observe for a while and watch how things are done. And as he said himself, he's to learn the team, he's to learn, you know, the names of the players. He said this on record, and I think that's a good way to do it. I'm glad that he didn't kind of jump in and, you know, I'm the boss and here we go. So because it was the transition was happening with the two lads in the dugout, we all could see improvements. It was very obvious. So I say, if it's not broken, don't fix it, and try and improve. And if you can have 3 people in a managerial squad making things better and we get points, that's the main thing.
Yeah, no, look, I don't know if I'd probably have to disagree with that. If he's coming in as head coach, I think he'd probably have to stamp his authority on it, or in another way they could have just came out and just said, look, I know the boys don't have the coaching badges, but just say, look, they can take it to a certain period, and we'll get somebody in that can take it on. Like, to bring somebody in who has that vast experience, he's been in the game long enough. It's not like you're taking somebody in who's no experience and then he has to have a bedding in period. Like, if you're going to take someone in to be the head figure, I think he needs to be the head figure, or it just leaves a bit uncertainty for me. Like, he's been brought in as the head coach, and now you look and there you go. Like, well, 1-1, Drogheda have a man sent off. We should have the impetus, and the camera goes to the to the bench about 3 or 4 times, and like the two lads are standing there chatting about what should be happening. I said, look, it's clear as day. So it just I don't know, it just doesn't sit well with me that we brought Noel King in. Like, why have we brought him in is probably the question that I'd have to ask. Ali, what do you think?
For me, I remember when it was all announced, and to say it was a shock was and somebody had said there, like, a surprise appointment. Like, surprise doesn't do it. It never questioned me. It never really came across your mind that he might have been brought in for badges only, because I don't think Brian Ainscough would have had that. If that's the reason, I think it's just pure coincidence. I think Brian Ainscough has brought him in to be a manager. I do genuinely think that. Now, whether or not that's happening, like, from what we've seen today, Steph, on the TV, and what I've seen at the night we went up with the Bows match as well, he's not a very active manager. Now, look, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but it definitely seems like the two boys are definitely doing all the coaching. Now, I don't mean to say all the coaching, but I'm saying he might be giving them, a bit of advice here from years of experience. But at the end of the day, the surprise appointment might be just purely for the badges. But I would go on the base that he's in there for a bit of man motivation. In there as a bit of a kind of a, I don't know what I don't want to disrespect him or anything, but just someone in there to kind of set a light underneath the arse of the boys in the dressing rooms. But it definitely seems like, and to be honest, I would have thought it was more Bonesy, but it definitely seems to be coming across to me. And you're right, Steph. I think you said it in the chat as well before the game's finished. It definitely seems to be Gartland, which is surprising. Seems to be doing a lot of the coaching. He's the one on the sideline. He's the one that seems to be in the technical box along the line. Now, whether or not that's a play on it, I don't know. But for me, I'm happy enough with the way it goes if it works. If that's the way it's going to be, and Noel King's just going to be there as kind of I don't mean a token gesture, but I genuinely don't think Brian Ainscough would have had that in mind when he brought him in. I don't think somebody would have been in his ear saying you need to get somebody with the badges, and then all of a sudden Noel King gets a phone call. I think that's just probably a happy coincidence that might have happened. And I genuinely think he meant him to bring him in as the manager. Whether or not the two boys are going to stay or not, I don't know. But you're right. I mean, for me, it seems to be definitely the lads are taking their cues from Garth and Bonesy. But look, I don't really have a massive issue with that. I mean, yes, you want your manager coming in. At the end of the day, he's doing all the post-match podcasts. He's definitely not doing the post-match interviews. And he's the one that, if things aren't working out, he's the one that's going to get it in the neck. But yeah, it definitely seems like the two boys are kind of not running the show, but they definitely have the grip between their teeth when it comes to the coaching end of it. But you'd like to think that Noel King, if you don't want to disrespect the man, bring him in, pay him club money and not have him doing anything. You don't want that either. You'd like to think that he can add something to the group. But I would be like you, Steph. I would like you do want to see a manager up down the sideline, like Jerry had said. Johnny Malone had texted in there saying you want your manager off the bench, you want them getting active. Absolutely, especially when we're down in the last couple of minutes of a game to a free kick against 10 men. But at the minute, it just doesn't seem to be that way. He could be having a bit of bedding in time. I don't see why you need bedding in time if you're watching any kind of football league of Ireland. I don't see why you need any bedding in time for this team. Hit the ground running. But look, we have them the way we have them. I think, it is a very big shot in the dark from Brian Ainscough. We were all kind of, to say we were surprised and it was announced is an understatement. But it's one of them. It's either going to work or it's not. There's no in between here. You're either going to get relegated or you're not going to get relegated. And we're not going to get relegated sorry, we're not going to stay up by a massive amount of points. This is going to be very close. So what we're seeing at the minute, I think somebody had mentioned when the transfer window was open, fully agree, can't wait for the transfer window open, get a striker in. And I don't mean a striker, but even then, I'm just thinking off the cuff now, who signs the strikers? Who's going to sign these players? Like, there's another question. Is it going to be Noel King? Is it going to be the two boys? We don't really know. Is it going to be Peter Halpin? We don't know what's going on at the minute, but it's an interest. An analyst. Yeah, it's an interesting question, but I think games like this are always going to raise those questions. I think if you played a couple of games like the Bows and the Shelbourne game, and we get that consistently every week, we're picking up a couple of points, and we're not throwing away games like we did today against 10 men. These questions mightn't come back too much, but they're always going to come back when you're going to get that, when you don't get a kind of a rise out of a manager on the sideline, because we know Noel King, whether you like him or loathe him, he's a fiery character on the sideline. People know what they're going to get with him, and you want to see that from your manager, no matter what level of badge he has, no matter what. At the end, he's been paid by the club to do a job, and you'd like to see more from him. But I think Jane could be right. He could be bedding in. I don't think he needs it. I think he's got to hit the ground running. The two boys on the sideline. The questions are going to be asked from Aegis like ourselves. If the two boys are going to be on the sideline, walking the sideline every week, and he's sitting comfy in the chair with a cup of coffee in his hand, the questions are going to be asked, especially when the results are coming out of that.
I think, as you say there, Gali, about the window opening in July, I would very much be sure that there will be something in place by then. I would very much expect that he will be the man on the sideline by that game. Yeah, by July, I don't think he's been brought in any this is just my opinion. Yeah. I don't think he's been brought in by just for paper reasons, badges, or I think he has been brought in to do the management job. And I do think maybe the bedding in process has gone on longer than fans thought it would or should.
Yeah, a week is a long time in football, so and look, maybe I wouldn't agree with it now, but maybe because, like you said, Jane, we seen a bit of an upturn when the two lads were on interim charge, and then they sort of just rolled with it. But it was just odd to bring in Noel then at that stage. Maybe if they started to see a wee dip or if it started to flatten out a wee bit, then bring in a permanent manager at that stage. But to bring somebody in and then just sit in the wings and because
you're talking about the badge, we have Dave Mackey at the club that has his badges.
Yeah,
unless I'm missing something and he's not available anymore. But if it's a badges thing, I could understand. But I genuinely don't think Brian Hainscott would have saw that. I think he actually hired him to be the manager, but they've obviously kind of had a chat between the three of them. I don't really know, but
Brian's not that outspoken anyway, is he?
No.
But yeah, look, the best way to paper over the cracks at the minute is a couple of 3-pointers. So,
absolutely. A couple of wins in a row.
Yeah. Look, hopefully we can turn the away form. We obviously have Bradshaw back, but then I think Patsy's mentioned, Johnson, Bradshaw, and High, who'd arguably be three of the best players we have this season, are all due to go back in July. Hopefully we can get a bit of an extension, but again, on the flip side, hopefully we're not left in a Mark Conley situation where he goes and we take a nosedive. So hopefully there's work going on behind the scenes there, or at least we're looking to bring in replacements if they do go, because look, I think Bradshaw has been a revelation since he went to left back. I think he's totally shored up the whole defence. Johnson took a while to get going. I know he came in late, but look, I think he's been our player of the season. Not bad to say centre back, but you don't usually get teams having the centre back being the best player in the squad. So and yeah, look, I think I really rate Scott High. So yeah, it'd be really three big massive holes in the squad if those three were to leave in July.
I know there's kind of mixed views about this, but I'd be taking Sloggett back in a minute as well, lads. I definitely would be.
Yeah, well, it's
getting
definitely a
involved
trend that's
in
catching
that.
on tonight. You see, I think he was at the match.
He was at the game,
the messages in, and obviously, look, he's been released from Cheltenham in the last couple of weeks. Steph, Greg Sloggett, I don't think.
Greg Sloggett, I don't think anybody had.
No, I think he plays for most teams in the league, really, doesn't he? He's on anyway.
Yeah. The only question mark, obviously, you'd have is like he went to Cheltenham injured, and then look, he's obviously signed a very, very short-term deal, 6 months or whatever it may be, and he never really got a look in. But look, I know when you go to the UK and the sort of plan ahead, and like I know a certain player was on loan the last 6 months at a team in the UK, and the last 5 games the manager wouldn't even put him in a squad because he was going back from his loan. So obviously that's something's happened similar to Greg, but you'd just like to think like he obviously still has a love for the club, and if he's going to games as well, like he's obviously putting himself out there to say like I'm available here. So look, if he signed back in the morning, I'd be happy with it.
And he knows by being there will start the noise as well. He's on social media himself. He knows the crack. If you're seen in a stand, you're coming to the club. Like that's how it goes.
Yeah, it's a calculated move. It's a smart move from Greg.
It's a very smart move. Fair play to him. And I think he'd be great to get back into the squad. He'd be, he's got the maturity, knows the club. I think he could bring some stability in.
Yeah, once he wasn't throwing the flares on the pitch, Jane, was he?
I'd very much doubt that now. Very much doubt that.
Yeah.
So obviously, look, after tonight's match. Go on, Steph.
I was going to say any more good news, Patsy. He said word today.
Just deflate us tonight. Obviously, we mentioned the massive result in Tallaght, a 3-1 win to Waterford. Unfortunately, we have Waterford in our next game on the 10th. So it's all eyes on that, Steph. And just look at the next 3, even the next 2 if you don't count the goal. Like you have Waterford away. You have Shamrock Rovers on the 17th, and you've got away to Galway. I mean, if you're in a relegation battle, they're tough as you're going to be looking at over the next couple of weeks.
I think Derry is at home then after that, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I didn't want to go that far, so I'm just taking it 3 games at a time.
Yeah, take up one game at a time. But yeah, it's not ideal us losing in the manner we did, and Waterford going to Tallaght and winning 3-1. So, but look, football's a funny old game. As to say, you just look, you just go and hope now.
Yeah,
you just go and hope. There's I think we were full of confidence going to Weavers Park today, and we got bitten. So
yeah,
I think the confidence has taken a bit of a shake, and hopefully the players haven't got affected too much, and we can get at them.
Just for contrast, Drogheda or in Talca Park, so if Drogheda happened to by miraculous, well, I mean, then again, look at if they happen to pick up some points Friday night and we don't. I mean, I know every game now where we are is a must win, but after today's result, and then you probably could have got a win on Friday night against Shelbourne. Although look, a draw at home to the league leader isn't bad either, but Friday night now is. It's massive. Every game's big, but after today's result, you got to go now and try and get something more. Because if we don't, and Drogheda happen to grab something, we're just drifting away now, and those points are going to be impossible to make up. It's going to get to the point where you're looking for Drogheda to drop a lot of points, and we have to find them at top of points that we already need. And it's going to be such a difficult, time if we don't get a couple of points. I mean, of the next 3 games, you got to be looking like 3 draws wouldn't cut it. You got to be going for wins. That's definitely, albeit Shamrock Rovers at home. But I mean, it's such a difficult predicament we put ourselves in, and like I know Frank put up some stats there on 1-14. It's frightening, but it's a massive game now, Steph, on Friday night.
Yeah. Look, I don't think it's understated at all. I think everyone knows how big it is, and they just need to go out there. I don't care if it's not even a performance. You just need a win at this stage.
Yeah, exactly. Jane, massive win Friday night.
And I do think this team have potential to bring things around. I do think there's focus there. I think there's talent there. And I think we're seeing that. Okay, we didn't see it today overall. And I think they just need to spend this week now focusing back in, getting them back in the zone that they have been in. And I think that's going to be a big part of their training this week will be more psychological nearly than physical, because we have, as you boys have said, we have seen a lot of improvements, and I think it'll be getting their heads ready.
Yeah.
Bit of crossing and shooting as well, lads.
A wee bit of that too would help. Just a wee bit.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean, Steph? I think that's a big part.
Look, I think
you got to be holding on late in games and stuff. Absolutely.
Yeah. Look, it's a massive dent, but you try and not get too dragged down by the losses or too carried away by the wins. So hopefully we're a bit level-headed and just approach it as a single game, like that we should be able to win, like, as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, on that note, folks, a bank holiday special. It's supposed to be 30 minutes, but we've got a lot of traffic tonight, which is everybody's on to watch Jane and comment on Jane. But look, I appreciate everybody commenting. We're not doing a pizza tonight, folks, simply because I forgot to put up the banner and then I didn't read the man of the match. So we might, if I speak to Chris, we might get away with pizza and some chips maybe on Friday night. Maybe we give away 2 pizzas as a double header on Friday night if we win. If we win Friday night, we'll do 2 pizzas. We've laid it out. We get a result Friday night, we might give away 2 pizzas. We'll give Vinny a shout and ask him permission. But look, thanks everybody for joining in. Thanks for the comments. It's not ideal on a bank holiday Monday. It's not ideal, especially when we went to Drogheda with a bank holiday Sunday hangover. It's not an ideal way to do it. But look, we go again Friday night. And until then, thanks to Jane as well. Thanks for jumping in, Steph. Cheers. Chris was meant to join us, but he's very busy doing 2 games today on the League of Ireland stream. But look, until Friday night in Waterford, come on.